Welcome back, my delightful friends. After my year-long endeavor that led to a 6-hour affair that you can watch right now and maybe like and subscribe and maybe not skip ads on, I felt like another one-off video was due before I put all the other unranked LEGO games in the wheel spinner again. And I remember a time pre-LEGO Avengers Every Character Ranked where I made a new type of ranking video that incorporated funny clips and stuff. That remembrance were the two Jackbox videos that I did. Did they get the most views? Not at all. In fact, my worst video is actually my most viewed. But did I have fun making them? Most tremendously. I actually don't experience burnout with these like I do with the other series since they're spaced so far apart. Additionally, it's obvious that views don't matter to me, so stop trying to force a LEGO Skywalker Saga ranking to happen by bribing me with the prospect of more views. But I do appreciate that you guys want to see more from me, but this is what happens when I'm given the ability to make my own decisions. So naturally, doing another Jackbox ranking was the move, but of which one? I could have continued the sequence I had going and ranked Party Pack 8, but then I realized at the rate I'm making these, that would always be my justification, so I would never go before Party Pack 6. So I chose an oldie at random and decided to rank it. So Jackbox Party Pack 4 is the Lucky Lady. This is my third Jackbox ranking, and I will continue the traditions precedented in my second ranking. That is my point system that I used to compare Jackbox Party Packs 6 and 7. I explained it in the Party Pack 7 ranking, so go check that out if you want a rundown. But now that it's more than just two games being prepared, this point system will make things I predict interesting, hopefully. There's not much more to say except that this pack has the usual 5 games, and I will continue to rank the games compared to all of the games I ranked so far across all of my Jackbox videos. Here's the list if you need a refresher. But with all that said and done, let's get down and dirty to rank these next batch of Jackbox games. Survive the Internet is the first game I'm covering on this list. I know this might be controversial, but my reasoning will be explained after my explanation of the game. Survive the Internet is a game all about making your friends look like terrible people. At the start of the game, players are given a question or something like it to answer or react to. Then another person, let's call him the Twister, actually the wiki called them that. The Twister is given a player's answer without the question, and the Twister must twist the person's response out of context to make them look like a bad person, I guess. There are a variety of modes that can be chosen randomly for the first 2 rounds, and then a final picture round. For the first 2 rounds, there are a total of 9 possible types. I was going to go through them individually to explain the differences, but honestly, the differences are minute. The overall goal is the same across the board. The only one that stands out is the photo sharing site round, which is always the final round. The player chooses a photo instead of responding to a prompt, and then the Twister gives a random caption to it. How points work is that people vote for their favorite burn at the end of each round, and the Twister gets points while the victim is given some pity points. Now, ranking this game was tough. I'm aware that a lot of people like this one, but the quality of this game depends entirely on the nature of the group you're playing with. I know people don't want to admit it, what I'm about to say, so I'll admit it on your behalf, and you can try to deny it in the comments, but we all know you're lying. Listen, we all act differently with different groups of people. Sometimes we straight up switch personalities, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that weird phenomenon affects this game directly, because let's say, for example, you play this game with your family at a family gathering. You will try not to offend Grandpa Bobby too much because that guy has a gun on him at all times ever since the war. But if you play this game with your school friends, you will type the most deranged sequence of words that would be enough to put you on some kind of list.
Oh,
Yikes.
That's good.
The friends I played with for this video, which are the same for all my Jackbox videos, are of the wholesome type, and I cherish them for that. I met them on Roblox a decade ago, for frick's sake. We aren't the type that constantly shit on each other for funniness, and we even, make jokes about, I don't know, Fegan Floop.
What was Floop's first name again? Egan? Let's get stuff.
I've also considered playing this game with other friends, just, not related to this video, just hanging out, because I have friends, just so we're clear. But I go through a dilemma of, does Survive the Internet fit the vibe of this group? And usually my conclusion is, why am I debating this with myself when I could put on this other Jackbox game that I know people would like? So Survive the Internet honestly doesn't get a lot of love from me, but I will admit, if you got a group that is compatible with Survive the Internet, it is a lot of fun. But a lot of it is just sitting in silence and occasionally chuckling at the answer with not much discussion beyond that. As for ranking purposes, I'm placing Survive the Internet above Party Pack 7 Blather Round and Party Pack 6's Dictionarium. I know I was pretty harsh on Survive the Internet, but the game does have a lot of laugh potential with the right group. But Blather Round is only a little interesting no matter the group. So that brings the totals to Party Pack 4 at 3 points, Party Pack 6 at 33 points, and Party Pack 7 at 30 points. Remember that there are 4 games left to rank, so this is by no means the final scoring. How did this game get a whole trilogy? I mean, Quiplash I get. It's low concept but high entertainment level. Drawful is the same way, but Fibbage, it's drawful with words. And mind you, Fibbage gets its 3rd version in Party Pack 4 while Quiplash had to wait until 7. It's crazy. If you don't know how Fibbage works, most likely because you skip over it always, then allow me to explain. Person chooses topic. Narrator presents fill-in-blank prompts based on some wacky fact based on the category that person chose. Everyone fills in the blank, then all of the responses are displayed with the right answer. People try to guess what the right answer is, and they do receive points if they do. Otherwise, the creator of the wrong answer they chose gets points.
If the answer is beard twice, I'm going to cry. No, it's beard.
What?
Again?
Is that even possible?
What?
It's very simple in concept, but entertainment levels are still low. There can be some prompts that produce a lot of similar answers because a certain answer may be the low-hanging fruit.
Oh no! Someone else.
Oh man.
Oh no!
No.
I'm gonna be so pissed. Oh, there's 3 that are identical to each other. Dead cat.
What?
No way.
Oh, my brother, no.
Combination of traits is really rich.
Just dead
and
cats? Like,
really bored.
That's
just staple
Like
them
cat
on?
skin, mind you.
Pretty sure she had like
Horrifying.
a cat head on it.
I should get partial credit for cat. Also, you can blow the competition out of the water if you're lucky.
No.
Whoa.
What?
That is...
My brother.
Watch it.
Demolition there.
I would have ranked Fibbage below Survive the Internet if not for the other version of the game that's included. The other version is called Enough About You, where you instead fill out prompts about the people you're playing with. And with that simple change, the game gets a lot better real quick.
oh wow.
I thought your mom hated Christmas plays, which is why I didn't think that was the answer.
Yeah,
That's
there's
why it's
probably a
there.
reason.
I'd most likely play this with friends I know well. I played with my internet friends and I've never met them in real life. And while I do know a lot about them, there are still a lot of things I don't know about them, and there's definitely things that they don't know about me. Like how secretly I'm a garden gnome. Shh. Dang it.
Oh.
All
I
right.
remember
I
this
just
one.
don't know.
Let me be clear. Ironically, whipping a nay-nay is still okay.
But unironically.
But it is a real treat to see everyone get the answer right, as rare as it is. Dang it.
Got an achievement.
Oh my god. And honestly, there's not that much to say, if I'm being honest. It's a very simple game, to its detriment. Word games typically are the weaker links of the Jackbox games, and this one is no exception. And I know I'm giving this game more crap than Survive the Internet, but this one is held to a higher standard since it's the 3rd game in its series, you know? And I guess the main addition of this one is the new game type that makes it about your friends instead of facts you don't care about, which is something, and I applaud it for that. And maybe not every fact is one that I don't care about, like the Superman sex tape.
Got me.
Come on, this has to be...
Oh no.
Dang it!
No!
I
I thought, oh man.
I don't know, maybe the
No way.
Really?
What?
No way.
Who's the lucky gal? My life is now better having known that, and sometimes you might even come across a prompt that you know the answer to, which would compel you to put something similar to it. It is a little risky though, since people will catch on that someone knows the answer of the two very similar answers, and one of them's the right one, so people will choose one of the two. If it is who I think it is.
Write something quick or use the lie for me button.
I should have used the lie for me button. This was crap.
Yeah, same. I have no idea.
Okay, here's what I thought it was. But Fibbage 3 just feels like it's here as an obligatory sequel game. I'll place this one above Dictionarium, as I did have more fun with the Enough About You Fibbage than I did with Dictionarium, but Jokeboat's spontaneity definitely made it more of a romp. That brings the score to 8 for Party Pack 4, 37 for Party Pack 6, and 33 for Party Pack 7. Okay, well, Party Pack 6 is still pulling more ahead now, which makes sense because Party Pack 7 also has the two worst games, which is really holding it back, even though they also have the two best.
That their whoppers would now be good.
Now, let me give you a little taste of my life. Whenever I'm trying to decide between two things, be it, what to eat, where to go, or even to determine the next game I'm playing, I make a bracket of all of my options, and I decide that way. It makes the decision process a lot less arduous, and even adds a little fun to the process, Well, Bracketeering here makes a whole game out of something I do mundanely, and I give it huge props right off the bat for that. It's also very similar to Fibbage 3 in the way that it is an extremely basic idea, but this time it has high entertainment value, which makes for a great game that leads to some weird discussions.
I feel like in a crisis, only in a cave-related crisis would spelunking be better.
Only in an ice-related crisis would ice skating be better.
Yeah, but ice is more prevalent than caves.
The skills you learn from spelunking.
Yeah, we all have a different crisis in mind.
Oh man, the age-old dilemma. Spelunk or build Lego? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Bracketeering is a game where you answer prompts that are then subjected to a bracket, and the players vote for the better option out of the two, and it repeats until a winner of the bracket is determined. Then the winner obviously gets points, and the other players get points based on how far into the bracket they made it.
That's so bad.
No. Oh!
Oh my gosh!
Let's go!
The randomness.
I don't know. Have you ever seen have you ever squeezed the head on those deflatable
No.
No.
Yeah, have you ever punched one?
There are 3 rounds. First round is the simplest. A random prompt is given, players answer, and the bracket commences.
I think Lego won strictly for the meme.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
I predicted against myself as well because I thought Taxidermy was gonna win.
Now, Lego teaches problem solving in construction.
That's true.
So does taxidermy.
The other 2 rounds get a little more interesting. For round 2, players get a prompt, but it's not the same prompt as the actual bracket. It's related, but, not exact.
This is one for the ages.
Easy.
He's such a little stinker.
That's true. And finally, the 3rd round has the prompt change for the quarter, semi, and finals. So the answer that you put in could have the context for it changed up to 3 times. It's a neat concept and probably not that hard for them to come up with. I personally love this game, and it's especially good for streamers since the audience can really make an impact. But there's one thing that's really bogging it down, and that is when there's a tie. To break a tie, the game has everyone just mash their screens, and whoever side has more button mashes, they win.
Show your support for your answer by tapping on your device.
Oh, snap.
Oh my gosh!
Come on. Let's go!
No!
No!
Dang.
Rebind my mouse click real quick.
It's especially likely to happen in smaller lobbies, which is why being a popular streamer would seriously help in the enjoyment of this game. It'd be one thing if the minigame to break a tie changed every time, so it's not just button mash, but it's always the button mash, which is not good.
I'm sorry, you can't say mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is not an animal.
You degenerates.
I don't know what led the Jackbox crew to settle on a button mash fest to decide tiebreakers, but it's the hand we were dealt, and for that we must deal with it. Also, it's common for people in rounds where the prompt changes for them to not take into account the new prompt and vote based on the prompt that they typed an answer to. Then there's people who just straight up misread the prompt.
Guys, let's be real here. Let's be real here. Spelunking.
We are being real.
I'm
Okay, so
sorry,
here's the
but
thing.
Wilson the Ludist is incredible.
The key that I was given was name and hobby. I had to come up with a name and I had to come up with a hobby.
Oh.
It said name.
I think it's probably the funniest answer in the entire. I think it's the funniest answer in the whole bracket.
I read it
Wilson
as
the
name
Ludist.
and hobby. Wilson the Ludist let me down.
That's a minor issue though, but it has cost me enough points for me to notice it. Also, if there's not enough players, NPC answers are put in and it takes away from the game. Especially in the rare case that two NPCs face off. What?
Oh, it's NPCs.
A clear favorite.
What?
I don't know what the heck Oobleck is.
Wait, what? Why did it go so fast?
It gets a buy. Fighting the machine. Sucks to have to fight against Oobleck.
But other than those blunders, I have a great time with this one. I'm placing Bracketeering above Push the Button because I don't like lying, and below Trivia Murder Party 2 because I'm better at trivia. That brings the scores to 17 for Party Pack 4, 39 for Party Pack 6, and 35 for Party Pack 7. The point difference between the three packs isn't really changing much, so let's see how that will change as we get to the two best games of Party Pack 4. And for the record, I probably would have placed Bracketeering higher, but I'm ranking based on the general consensus from the people I play with, and they definitely don't like the tie breaking, and I agree. So it'd probably be number 2 for me, but number 3 is fine. Just so we're clear. Every Jackbox Party Pack needs at least one game dedicated to drawing, and here's the Party Pack 4's rendition. Civic Doodle is a game where you revitalize a town with graffiti. Well, the game says murals, but have you seen some of the art that results from this game? The game is fairly simple to understand. The players are presented with an empty canvas, save for one random scribble on it. 2 players are chosen to draw an adequate addition to the scribble to make it look easy for the eye. Very rarely does that occur. Toad.
No, it cut off the last of my drawing.
Zach, what is that supposed to be?
It's definitely not supposed to be Toad.
What? I love the toad.
I think the poop on the foot is what got me.
It's supposed to be a boot. There was supposed to be another one on the other foot.
But the remaining players vote for which players is the better one. Then the next 2 randomly chosen players will draw an addition to the winning drawing.
You've never tasted an eggplant?
2 very different takes.
Team Whole.
No. I just got
Violence is
blown
not
out.
the answer, Wesley.
What's going on here?
Murder.
What on earth?
Gosh.
What? What is that on the left? Number 1, explain yourself.
Have a few more goes with that, and finally the mural is finished. Then players create and vote for a potential name. Players get points for having their drawing be the most voted. If there's a tie in votes, the game randomly selects a winner based on who has more of a certain emote that the non-drawing players can emote during a round.
Who got 75?
You got 75 eggplant.
Sometimes it's a nice way to break a tie, but sometimes it really does fail us.
Oh man, don't let it be the one with arms.
No! The final round isn't so much a final round, but more like an additional, more different round. The narrator gives you what you're supposed to be drawing, then all players draw together.
This is supposed to be just a head, wasn't it?
After the players have made their additions, the players vote for the best, and the best will be used in the next stage of the round. Again, players get points for having their drawings voted for. Civic Doodle is a real chaotic one, in the best way. I very much prefer the first round over the second because there's no real restrictions for what you can draw. It leads to a lot of wacky stuff. It can be frustrating if you have a good idea, but it's not your turn, and you watch as two players tarnish it at once.
Oh, thank goodness it's not me.
Oh, I had such a good idea for this one. Okay, whatever. The second round is also good, but the fact that the narrator tells you what you're supposed to draw kinda can be limiting. But then again, it's not like people really adhere to this limitation.
This one.
Dang it.
How are we supposed to draw off of this?
Also, you should come to expect some phallic interpretations, but that comes with every drawing game with one guy. Am I right?
Alright, who was it?
But overall, you can usually expect the drawing game of the pack to be a reliably good time. Draw the tail?
We're all doing a scorpion tail? What the heck? This is so dumb.
Speak for yourself. I'd easily place this over Trivia Murder Party 2, but just under role models. So that brings the point total to 24 for Party Pack 4, 35 for Party Pack 6, and 32 for Party Pack 7. Now, when I rank these Jackbox games, I try to balance out what all my friends think in addition to my opinion, and not just me ranking by my personal favorites. And honestly, I already told you guys, Bracketeering was going to be number 2, could even be number 1 for myself. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, and I get a lot of flack for putting it at number 1, so that's why I didn't do that. There's been a bit of a theme with this episode, and it's the concept to fun ratio thing I've been mentioning. And the reason why I like Bracketeering is because making brackets and completing them is literally how I decide what game I'm going to play next. But I recognize that you don't necessarily need Jackbox to play a game like this. For Civic Doodle, you do need Jackbox to put squiggles on your canvas for you. But this game, the best game of the Party Pack 4, not only do you need Jackbox, but you crave Jackbox. Pretend that made sense. Monster Seeking Monster is a dating sim where you try to flirt with your friends.
What up, playa?
Let's go! At the start of the game, you are given a monster role. There are a ton of monsters you can be, each with their own objectives. Some monsters need to meet a certain condition to win, while most just require to have the most hearts by the end of the game. And there are a lot of monsters, way more than would be expected from a Jackbox game. There are 15. 15! That's enough to make a video dedicated to Monsters Seeking Monsters, ranking the monsters, you know? And you know what? While I won't sink a lot of time into making a video like that, I'll just rank them in a lightning round for your viewing pleasure at the end of this segment. But until then, allow me to explain how the game works. Everyone is given a secret monster role, and it's not known to the other players initially. The first dating night starts, and each player gets a total of 4 texts to send to other players. The goal is to get someone to agree to date you. And at the end of the texting round, players choose who they want to go on a date with. If there are matches, as in people who voted for each other, they get points in the form of hearts.
What a gunner.
Oh, nice try. Let's go! Seeing who ends up with who and who gets rejected is always a riot, and the texts between players are so good. I gotta say though, it really stings when none of your friends view you in a romantic way.
I get freaking nothing. Hearts are doubled for dates, though. Does anyone want to date Zombie Boy?
The real strategy of the game starts at the end of night 2. The person in first place gets their role and power revealed to the other players. At the end of each night after night 2, the highest ranked unrevealed player is revealed. And with each reveal, every player's strategy is pivoted. The texting portion has a blocking function where you can cut off communication with players that you don't want to associate with.
It's the end of the world, and
Alright, so just ice Swift out. Got it.
No, this is
Block.
And you can easily lead players astray by promising to date them and then choosing someone else. There's also a bonus word that's revealed by the narrator, but I don't think there's any reason to use it points wise.
Oh my gosh.
You said the word.
What you decide to do can vary greatly based on the many types of rules there are in this game, which is why Monster Seeking Monster is considered the best game in the Jackbox Party Pack 4. Oh wait, the monster rankings and the overall game ranking. As promised, how could I have been so foolish? For these monster rankings, I'll give an overview of their little quirk, how it can be used strategy-wise, and use that as justification of their ranking. I'd said I'd do this lightning fast, I only kinda told the truth, so let's just get right into it. This technically isn't a real role you can get, it's just the role of a CPU if there are not enough players. The robot loses a heart every round, but gains one every time someone tries to date it, even if the robot rejects the player. But be careful, if the game ends with robot in last place, everyone loses. So this guy is last purely because it's physically impossible for a real person to be in this role. And I'm not kidding about the everyone loses thing, by the way. The robot destroys humanity, or I guess in this case, monstrosity. Leprechaun's function is too complicated for this game, I think. This is how it goes. When he's unrevealed, players get 2 hearts for dating him. But when the leprechaun is revealed, the fake hearts go away, and the leprechaun gets a heart for every person who drops in the rankings. This one I would hate to get because what would you even do? Date around and hope a lot of rank changes happen when you get revealed? Or should you just stay with one person for the entire game and only get 1 bonus point, assuming that they drop in rankings? They might not. It would just be really difficult to play this guy right. The Monster Hunter gets a bonus heart every time they date the type of monster they've been told to hunt. This is frustrating because there's really no way to know who is the monster you're supposed to date until they're revealed, and by then you might already be snug and cozy with another player, so you might not be able to switch your target. As a ventriloquist puppet, you get an extra heart when dating someone that was dumped the night before. It's pretty specific and a little creepy in a weird grooming kind of way, so I wouldn't be very happy to get this guy. The witch gets a hair for every new person they date, and they get 1 heart per hair at the end of the game. Not much strategy here, just try to jump around and hope everyone takes the bait. Or you can play it safe, stick with one person, knowing that you'll only get 1 extra point. But at that point, there's really no upside to being witch. This guy starts the game with 2 bonus hearts and appears in last place until the end of the game, meaning he will always be unrevealed throughout the dating process. This is literally the definition of autopiloting in this game, since there's no strategy to playing Invisible Man. All his quirks are done by default, so you're guaranteed 2 points in the game. Yippee. And just so we're clear, by autopiloting, which I'm going to use, is a term I'm going to use a few times. I mean, you don't have to think specifically with your role in mind. Like you kind of just try to date people. Nothing too special. This is another autopilot type thing where you start with 1 bonus heart and make people lose a heart for rejecting you. It's nice passive punishment. This one is just a bizarre choice of monster, and his quirk really has nothing to do with him being a blob, or glob, I guess. If you date 3 different people during the course of the game, your heart count doubles at the end. This could be pretty easy to achieve so long as you're not revealed. No! Swift, why'd you block me?
Because you're a glob.
Dang. Discrimination.
Okay, this one's funny. Another player is secretly chosen as the child of the person playing mother, and the mother gets a bonus heart every time the child gets rejected or fails to date. The easiest way to play mother is to butter up the person assigned to be your child. Oh god, this sounds terrible. And then date someone else. It might be difficult to rizz up 2 people with only 4 texts, but you know, it's doable. God, I hope that doesn't get taken out of context. Every 2 nights a full moon comes, and werewolf not only gets double points when dating on a full moon, but the person they date also becomes a werewolf. The player becoming werewolf won't be affected really points wise, but it's pretty easy to autopilot with this role while still being able to get, you know, a good amount of points. Where a lot of the roles we've covered thus far would require some mind games to achieve a win. Serial killers take 2 hearts from players they date 2 nights in a row. They can get 2 people in the amount of nights there are, and this role is giving me major Ted Bundy vibes, so let's move on. On full moons, body swappers switch their points with the person they date. This could be good, except that you're basically going to be blacklisted as soon as you're revealed. So if you can, try to stay in last place and then date the person in first place at the very end. The two-faced creep is tough to talk about without getting demonetized. You get bonus hearts for rejecting people, but only if you manage to get a date. This one is easy to strategize. Just date someone on night 1, as it is the most likely time you'll succeed in getting a date. And then after that, woo different people and rake in the points. Mummies leave a curse on players when they date them, and gain extra points for each person they date. Then, those people leave curses on the people that they date. However, if everyone in the game gets cursed, then the mummy gets no hearts. It's insanely easy for everyone to get cursed, especially with fewer players, so in theory this one's good, and the theory is only reason why a mummy is up this high, not by practice. Vampire is very similar to mummy in the way that they bite people that they date, and then the people that they have dated bite the other people that they date. You get it. Only this time, Vampire gets the extra points no matter what, even if everyone's infected. So really, the only catch to Mummy is lifted with the Vampire. Now I know the Vampire was the Mummy but better, but the Zombie is the Vampire but way better. As Zombie, you infect people that you date, and in turn, those people infect the people that they date. You know, like the last two people. If everyone is infected by the end of the game, Zombie wins the entire game. That's it. Points no longer matter, and the Zombie just wins. During both of our Monster Seeking Monster games, Zombie was involved, and Zombie crushed.
But wait.
Whoa.
We still need to find out who got infected by the zombie virus.
Oh,
I
no.
sure
Oh,
hope
no.
this doesn't go apocalyptically. Hide your
There we go.
What?
Holy crap.
Got everyone.
What?
There we go.
Wow. That's an incredible
So your powers-
victory.
What a turnaround.
Get one date and you just might be set as long as you let them infect amongst themselves. I don't even think a reveal would stop the inevitable.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
He's probably got everybody.
Zombies.
Not
if I have anything to say
about
Define win.
No.
Everyone has been
How can a
infected.
glob be a
It's
zombie?
the end
A
of the
glomby,
world,
if
and
you will.
only the
So that was kind of a lightning round, I admit, but that caps off the ranking of the Jackbox Party Pack 4. Overall, this was just when Jackbox was starting to get more and more creative with their games, and that's why I wanted to rank them. Not to spoil future Jackbox rankings, but I think it's only up from Jackbox 4, but you can't really beat the Jackbox classics. As for Monster Seeker Monsters' overall ranking in the master ranking, it's above Civic Doodle, obviously, but does not top Role Models from Party Pack 6. So that brings the totals to, drumroll please. No? Okay. Well, Party Pack 6 is just barely in the lead with 41 points to Jackbox 4's 40 points, and Jackbox 7 is in third with 39 points. Man, that's really close, and I honestly was expecting Party Pack 4 to be in last, but here it is overcoming Party Pack 7, even though 7 has the two best games, and say it with me, it also has the two worst games. I like to once again thank my friends that I actually have somehow with helping me record these videos. It's always nice to have fun and also, you know, make a video on it in the process. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a wheel to spin.